Hello everyone, my name is Joonsang Park, not a bamboo park as you can see in the picture. A lame joke. But well, I'm gonna talk about the effects of study groups for improving English speaking skills. Again, my name is Joonsang Park, aka Harris. I'm a graduate student majoring in English language teaching at International Graduate School of English. And I'm a former writer for an English educational program called the Good Morning Pops at KBS, and also published the book How to Learn English Well in 2009. So, with the fierce competition in the Korean job market and English being one of the most important factors for getting a better job, the number of people who want to improve their speaking skills through study groups has been on the rise in the 2000s. So, what are study groups? For a study group, there are usually 4 to 10 members, and they're very autonomous, and they're kind of cheaper than the classes that you can take at private institutes. So, the topics that you deal with vary from second languages, interviews, knowledge sharing, and etc. But among them all, the most popular topic is, of course, English. So my research questions. Number 1, English study groups, are they really helpful for improving speaking proficiency? And in what Number 2, and in what aspects of speaking skills do English study groups contribute to the improvement of speaking skills? And number 3, what other factors could influence the improvement of speaking skills? So the first question is very self-explanatory, and the second one is about some aspects like vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and whatnot. So among those factors, what could be the most influential or contributing factor in helping to improve their speaking skills? I reviewed some literature in the past, but it was extremely difficult for me to find good ones because there's almost none. So it was like finding a needle in a haystack. But I was lucky enough to find 2 studies. The first one was done by Stefano in March 2011. In their research of student use of out-of-class study groups in an introductory undergraduate biology course, they found no relationship between gains in the content knowledge and study group use. So basically, they wanted to find out whether extending the students' study time through study groups could come into play for the improvement of their content knowledge in the subject, which was biology. And so there's no relationship, no improvement. But interestingly, the participants there believed that the study group sessions were very beneficial. So in conclusion, they attested that students require guidance in the successful use of study groups. So this is not directly related to English education. So another one was done by Ji Hae-seo in 2009. She studied the effects of small group discussions on speaking proficiency. There are 4 participants in her study group, and they met once a week for a period of 8 months. At the end of the last study session, the participants' accuracy increased, and their fluency also improved, and their discussions became more complicated. I mean, they were able to discuss things, which were very complicated, such as North Korea issues and whatnot. So in conclusion, small group discussion is effective for speaking proficiency, especially in terms of accuracy, fluency, and complexity. So I found it very difficult to design my research. So I had to start from scratch. So the number of participants in the study group was 9, and their average age was 29. And they live in or near Seoul, and their jobs are college students and office workers. And the leader of the group, as you might have guessed, was me. So as you can see, the members in the pictures, they were kind of happy to practice their English on a regular basis. And materials, the textbook was English for opening up your mouth, 입이 트이는 영어, which is a very popular, broadcast, one of the most popular EBS books for adult learners of English. But I did not ask my students to buy the book because I thought some topics in the book are rather irrelevant to their daily lives and unuseful. So I chose some of the most common questions, such as introduction, hobbies, and favorite movies, and so on. And basically, this book covers some topics that you can encounter, you can get from your friends or people around you. And the book provides you with the model answers. And the number of topics that they were supposed to practice for one study session was 10. So I selected 50 topics in total for the whole study sessions for 5 weeks. And I also gave them a weekly test. They met once a week, 3 hours, on Saturdays for 5 weeks. And that was a couple of months ago, from January to February 2011. So, how did they study the materials? The leader of the group explained some words and expressions in the handouts. And the members, the participants, were asked to practice the words and expressions in the handouts. They're asked to, practice in pair based on the questions and the expressions and words. So as you can see in the pictures, there is one question on a piece of paper. There is one question at the top, and there is model answer below the question. So I intentionally wrote down one answer and one question and one answer on a single piece of paper, so that they'll be able to write something down, because I explained some things during the study sessions. And so basically there are 10 pages. The handout was 10-page long one. 10-page long one. Is it clear? So once again, so we met once a week, and I as a leader gave them a handout a week, and the handout included 10 topics and 10 questions and the answers to the questions. And then I kind of assisted them to practice those expressions and vocabulary and sentences by providing some questions. To see their improvement, I used the Version test, which is a telephone-based test. So you can take the test at home. It only lasts about 10 to 15 minutes, and you can get the results right away because it's kind of automated, and then it's kind of cheaper. It costs only about $7 per test. So the test shows 4 different areas of speaking proficiency. First one is sentence mastery, vocabulary, fluency, and pronunciation. So there are 4 types of areas that could be scored, and there is an overall score. Results. Okay. The 9 members, the 9 participants, their speaking proficiency showed some improvement in their speaking skills, and vocabulary was the most contributing factor. More specifically, so there are 9 members here. So their average test score. So if you take a look at the first bars, which says total, this refers to their initial pre-test result, and the one in dark blue refers to their test results in the post-test. Pre means before the study session begins, and post refers to the study session after the study sessions. So there is a gap between the 2 bars, and so the total average difference is plus 1.8. So this means they scored higher in the post-test, which means their speaking proficiency improved. And if you take a look at the second bars, the sky blue one refers to, of course, their first score in sentence mastery. So there is also another difference, which is 4. And sentence mastery, the total difference 2.4, and pronunciation 0.9, and fluency 0. So please be careful to take a look at the bars. I mean the dark blue bars. So if you take a look at the bars in the center, there's more difference than other bars, right? So that means among the 4 items that could contribute to the improvement of speaking skills, vocabulary was the #1 contributing factor in their speaking improvement. And next, and I think when I first conducted this experiment, when I found some students missing in some of the study sessions, I was kind of frustrated because I thought it could badly influence the final end results. But I think it was lucky for me to have those types of people, because I'm now able to compare consecutive participation and inconsecutive participation. So for the participants who joined the study sessions for 5 times, 4 times, and 3 times consecutively, like first week, second week, and third week, and fourth and fifth week, their total average difference is plus 3.5. So as you can see here in the graph, look at the first 2 bars that says total. The blue one, and the difference between the light blue and the dark blue one is plus 3.5. So that means their speaking proficiency has improved. And interestingly, vocabulary in the center, the average difference is 7.3, which is really high. And that's followed by sentence mastery 4.6, and fluency 1.3, and pronunciation 1.16. And now, for those who participate in the study sessions 5 times consecutively, their average difference, total average difference is 4.7, and vocabulary being the first contributing factor in their improvement, speaking improvement. So that's 8, and followed by sentence mastery 4.7, fluency 4, and pronunciations 1.7. And there are 2 other members who participated in the study sessions 4 times consecutively. Their total average difference is plus 2.5, and vocabulary, the number 1 contributing factor in their speaking improvement, 5.5, sentence mastery 4. But here, fluency, the average difference is minus 0.5. And there is one member who participated in the study sessions 3 times in a row. His total average difference is 2. Vocabulary is the number 1 contributing factor, number 9, followed by sentence mastery 6, and his fluency is the difference in fluency is surprisingly minus 3. And now about those who participate in the study sessions inconsecutively. For example, those members showed up 2 times in a row, like on the first week and then the second week, and then a break, and then another session. So there are 3 members, and the total average difference is minus 0.75. So this means their speaking proficiency has decreased. So what does this mean? What does this imply? Well, consecutive participation is very important for improving one's speaking proficiency. And So if you take a look at the fluency part, the average difference is minus 2.75. So what does this mean? So if you want to improve your English, you need to participate in study sessions in a row. But that's only my suggestion. This cannot be generalized because there are some weaknesses in this research. In conclusion, vocabulary was the #1 factor that helped the participants improve their speaking skills. No matter what, no matter what, whether they participate in a study session consecutively or inconsecutively. So let's take a look at those graphs again. So let's see. Yeah, here for the non-consecutive participants, the vocabulary, the average difference in vocabulary is 0.25, and then here in this case for this member 9, and for the two members here 5.5, and also here for the 3 members 8. So in total, yeah, vocabulary, yeah, in terms of vocabulary, there is a +4. It's +4 improvement. And then also consecutive participation is important for improving one's fluency. So as you can see here, for those who participate in the study sessions consecutively, did not improve in terms of their fluency. Rather, their fluency decreased by scoring minus points. Here, and here, and here. And 4 times participation or less is not good for improving one's fluency. So here, for those who participate in the study sessions at least 3 times, all of their fluency kind of decreased by scoring minus points, like here, and here, and here. So discussion. So why did the vocabulary and the sentence mastery score higher than other constructs of speaking proficiency? I think it's because of the tests taken during the study sessions. I, as a leader, kind of forced them to memorize some words because I gave them a test sheet at the beginning of a study session. So I gave them 5 written tests in total. And in the test, as you can see in this test sheet, there are a couple of sections, basically 3 sections. 2 sections are the major ones. The first section is about vocabulary. So the participants were asked to write down the meanings of the words in the test. And then another part is sentence completion, where the participants were asked to fill in the blanks. and the sentences that they have to fill in are from the handouts, so they could not. They're not able to, avoid not studying the sentences in the handouts. So I think because of these two sections, I think they were kind of pushed to memorize some words. And this is called the washback effect. You get to study more what appears in a test. So I think that's why. But there are some limitations. The participation dropout rate was higher, very high. Initially, there are around 20 members in total, but after one session, only 10 members were left. I wanted to use the rest of 10 members who dropped out of the course to be used as a control group, and so did I, and I did it anyhow. But I wasn't able to fully control them, so I kind of I wasn't able to make the best out of the participants, of the whole members. But on the flip side, I think I was kind of lucky to have only like about 10 members after all, because if we define a study group, we usually have from 9 to 10 members in total. So I think this made my experimental group more realistic. And some study groups usually last more than 5 weeks, but mine lasted only for 5 weeks. And the leader of the study group was a professional lecturer, which was me. So yeah, some could raise the question like, is this a real study or is this a class? And so I suggest some more further studies, like you could implement a delayed test to see whether or not the participants speaking fluency stays at the same level. And you can also gather some participants who are almost at the same age. And also another variable, my study group members met only once a week, but yours, you could design your study group unlike mine, so the participants could meet more than once per week. And also, you could also use some more different materials, such as some published books like Grammar in News and some novels and whatnot. And also, the purpose of my study group sessions was to improve your speaking skills. But you could look more into whether study groups could help their writing skills and some other skills as well. And also, because there are very few research done on this specific topic, some more cumulative research is needed. So that wraps up my presentation. Thank you very much.